Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Asian Report. I'd like to start with CBA here on the monthly chart, as CBA weighted about 9% of the ASX index. So whatever happens here certainly reflects back into the ASX. Well, it's a little bit more than that. I mean, even the NAB has a really high volume, and of course Westpac and ANZ, so they really dominate the ASX 200, so it is important. And then of course, you know, banks are money and they're connected throughout the world, so based on interest rates and the carry trade, so they all kind of wine in together a little bit. So with the CBA here, I've always been looking at this as wave 3 here, wave 4 on the monthly, then 1 and 2 and 3. It's always been quite a nice count for this third wave here. As always, or not always, but most of the time, wave 4s end up being quite complicated. It's quite simple here as an A and a B and a C, but internally for all this, it's a little bit complicated. So from wave B here down to wave C here, it's possible that we've got a low in place here, but it's also possible we've got one more move to the downside here. And that's what I need to talk about today, because that will reflect back into the ASX 200 as such. So we'll go into the weekly chart here. So from wave B here down to wave C, we're always looking for 5 waves in wave C, unless it's in a triangle pattern. So with the 5 waves here, the best count here is wave 1 here and wave 2 here, and then down for wave 1 and wave 2 here. And then we've got all of wave 3 here and wave 4 here and wave 5 here for wave 3 here. So I'd always been toying with this wave 4 here. Now, this particular high here was always interesting because it was 38.2% retracement level, right on, but however, and that was on the low there, but the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree is further up here, so it would be up into this space here, and then move down. Because if this moves down through here, then the ASX 200 is going to move down into that space there as well. So that would make the ASX 200 top out around 5,900 area, and then move down. But you know, if I've missed something here, and you know, sometimes things just don't pan out the way that you want them to, and that's why we have trading strategies or entry and setups, you know, to help us govern those, and also the trading levels as well are quite helpful, and volume and all these little things kind of gather evidence for a particular move. So we need to be mindful that the market just could go straight up from here, but also too, we need to be mindful that once this move here finishes, that we could turn and come down through here as well. So the wave 4 here, we can go in and have a look at that. So, I mean, I've been kind of lining it up with the US banks as well. So, I mean, it's just a bit of a long shot, but I might as well have a look at them before we go in. This is Goldman Sachs here. And from the current top up here, we've got an A wave, a B wave, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. So we can have a low in place here as such. Yes, all of this could be the third wave here, and we could go back for a complicated fourth and down. And that's what I'm looking at with Morgan's here, JPM here. So in this case, we've got a top over here, and looking at this, we've got nice 5 waves down here, ABC back for wave 2 here at the high, and then or even to this space here. I have to sort of figure this out a little bit here, because on the intraday it didn't make a new high here, but on this it did. So that's the CFD providers for you. But yeah, so we've got wave 3 here, and we can be wave 4 here, and then wave 5 down. So if this continues to move up here and breach this particular low here, then we'll be going further up from there. We'll have a low in place here as an A and a B and a C wave here. So I mean, it's important to kind of pin all these sort of markets together a little bit, because they'll all move together, and basically CBA here has had the same run as the S&P 500, well, the banks basically. So on Oh, that's not quite right, actually. I've got my wires crossed there, but we'll just forget that comment. But let's just go in and have a little look at this little move in here. So on the, because it's kind of, it is important, as I mentioned, to line it up with the ASX 200. So basically an A wave here, a B wave here, and a C wave moving in up here. So this C wave here, we need to count 5 waves in this. So that's really what we've been doing. So I'll just go straight to the tick chart and pick it up at the bottom here for this. So from wave B here, we can look at this as wave 1 and 2 here, then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 for the third wave. A fourth wave either back to here or back to here. But if it is here, then 1 and 2 and 3 here, complicated, well, an A and a B and a C wave for wave 4, and then we'll see a push up for wave 5 here, so take us up into, let's just say, 73.50 to 74 area through there, and then we just need to look at what occurs in that space there. So with all that in mind, if we look at the ASX 200 here, then the current move down here, well, this has got quite a complicated count in the much bigger picture, but the current move down here has pulled back 61.8% of this previous swing here, and we can get 5 waves in this particular space here. We could also count this move up here as a B wave here, and we could also fit this as 5 waves coming down here as well. So it's also possible to have that sitting here with wave 3 here, an A and a B and a C here for wave 4, but obviously it's pulled back and overlapped this structure here, so that's not going to be the case. But if all those other markets are going to push up higher, then we're going to be pushing up higher as well. So this has got me stumped here a little bit, so we need strategies here. It's possible to count this down as an A and a B and a C. It's also possible to remove that. It's also possible to count this down here as an A wave in 5 waves and have this as a B wave here and a C wave here, and this is what we've also been looking at. It's also possible to have this as an A wave here and a B wave here, and keeping the C wave here as an A and a B and a C, because the problem with this is that I could never count 5 waves in this particular structure here. So going to the daily chart here, moving down through here, as I've pointed out before, it's possible, I mean, weird things happen, but I can count 5 waves down here, that's fine. And then we can count that back as a retracement. We can count 5 waves in here, but it's so short compared to wave A and this move here. So it's difficult to count this as wave 1 and 2 here and 3 here and 4 here and 5 here. So, I mean, it could be the case, but it just, I have to sort of stick a flag in it because it doesn't add up, and that's why I've got this as the A wave here and then an A and a B and a C wave here. But if this was a C wave here, and this is 61.50% and 61.8% of the current move from the top down to here, but then if it was going to be a C wave, then we would need 5 waves here, so 1 and 2 here, and then 3 and 4 and 5, so then we'd be into a bullish market at that point. So it's possible that we could also have had wave 3 here, so wave 4 here, and then down for wave 5 here. So we've always had that. So it's possible to look at this here as an A wave here, and then look at this as an A and a B and a C wave here with the 3 wave rally here. And then if that's the case, then we need to work out the 5 waves that are happening in this particular structure here. So it doesn't matter which count this is at this stage, because I don't know, and I can't say with certainty what it is, but what we can do is we can count the 5 wave structure moving up in through here, and that's what we have been doing. And we've been looking at the sort of long trade within all of that. So we'll just go to the hourly chart here and cut to the chase. So it's possible to have this as the A, but it doesn't matter, and then an A and a B. This could also be wave 1 in a bullish market as well. So, I mean, we have a possible low in for the European markets, and we've been working that to the upside. And Europe and Australia have got a strong relationship. Well, the DAX is the sort of the heavyweight there, but also the UK market. We're a chip off the old block there. We've got the same, same political system, same accounting system, and so on and so on. So There's a strong relationship there. But so if the FTSE's got a low in, well then this has probably got a low in as well. So but let's just stay with what we know at this stage, and what we know is that we're looking. I mean, I had last time we spoke, I had this little move here as this degree of wave one, but I've just put it like this as wave one here, wave two here, and then counting this up here is 5 waves up here for one. Let's just open this up so we can see it a little bit. So wave 1 and 2, so we're going up for the third wave here, so wave 1 here, wave 2 here, a nice strong third wave in this space here, a fourth wave, and then we're looking for a little high in here and back, and then further up into this space here. So we're not finished here, and this can take us up into the 5.9 area, which is the 61.8%. If you're long, you know, through here or on top of the 5650 here, then just stay long. You'd want to accommodate this move here. If you wanted to take any profit, well then the end of this run here. But also too, if we're going to see Friday be the bullish day, then Monday's also going to be bullish as well. If Friday's going to close on its high or around its high, and it's just, you know, basically a strong day, well then you can expect Monday to follow through. But if Friday is bearish, well then we're going to see Monday bearish as well. So be mindful of that. Look, the main point, what I'm saying here, is keep the stop out of the way here. So we want to keep the stop. If you're going to stay in the trend to 5.9, then you need to leave the stop, you know, out of the way below this wave 4 here. So keeping it well out of the way would be the go. If you want to take profits, well then, you know, you do so in this space here. But our target will be anywhere from the 5.850 to the 5.9 there. Okay, let's have a look at China and Hong Kong and so on. So China first. Okay, so what I've got here is that we were looking at the move up through here, being from wave 3 here, being up for wave 4 here as such. So we had wave 1 and 2 here, and looking at this is all, an A and a B and a C here for wave 4. But because this is being breached here now, well, I'd have to double check that with the cash market, then we could actually have a low in place here, because we would be looking at 5 waves up. And if we got 5, if this moves up here, for instance, if we go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 and move up here, then we'll have 5 waves from the low here. So then we would have an ABC back, and then we'd have another move up here. So what I'm saying here is also that there may be a low in place here. This wave 5 low might be in place here, and maybe I've made a mistake somewhere within all of this structure here. But not to worry, making money is more important than being an analyst and being right or wrong there. So what we'll do is, if we get the 5 waves up here, then we'll just look for our entry point through here, because we'll get some sort of ABC back, and then we can go long from that point there. So Hong Kong is a little bit more sort of interesting as well. So let's have a look at the Hang Seng. So with this market here, I've been looking for a low to come in place. So we're looking here as wave 1 and ABC for wave 2. And then in a nutshell, we're looking for 1 and 2 all the way down for 3, 4, and 5 here for the third wave. So I've been looking for the 4th and the 5th here. So I know that this was a corrective move here. So I thought we would just come down for wave 5, but we haven't made a new low here. And that's kind of, it's normal to make a new low, but it's okay to have a truncated 5th wave in here as well. And we do have 5 waves in here as wave 1 and 2 here, and wave 3 here, and wave 4 here, and wave 5 here. So once again, it's also possible to have a low in here as well. So that's a bit of an issue here as well. I mean, it needs to be clarified. It's possible that we could have this as an A wave here, a B wave here, and a C wave moving up here in 5 waves, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here, and that would take us to the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree over here, and then move down. But it's also possible if this is going to be 5 waves up here and we've got a low in place, if the global markets have got a low, well then we'll see an ABC here, and then we'll go up from that point there as well. So on the, I don't know what we've been looking at here, was it the hourly chart or 4-hour chart? 4-hour chart. So, right, so I'd been looking at this in a couple of ways, as you know. I'd been looking at it as an A and a B, and then we also had a look at it as a triangle pattern coming through here too, if you remember, through here. As such, so it would be an A and a B and a C and a D and an E, and then that would be wave 4, and we'll come down from that point. But I don't think that's the case, because we've moved higher than the 50-60% retracement level here from there to there, so that would be in this particular space here. So markets are looking rather bullish. So it's moved, it's above the 61.8%. I guess that's not the end of the world, but it does help me eliminate one count. It would still be going higher. It's still got to go higher from up here anyway. So still got to move up higher here at least. So there's going to be problems at this old high here for sure. So we'll see that come back, and so we're looking at 1 and 2 and possibly 3, 4, and 5 up here to be wave 4 up here. And now, because of the global market situation, we need to look at that as also wave 1 up here as well, on the long side there. So that's where we stand with that. I'll just save that. And next we're looking at Japan. And also too, we're looking at the same thing here as well. We're looking at all of these moves, you know, as corrective, but it doesn't appear to be the case. So in this instance here, looking for wave 3 here, and an A wave, a B wave, and then 5 waves up for wave C here as wave 4. So if this market's going to move higher from here, then we've got this wrong for some reason, and we need to be long. So in terms of actually trading, if this top is taken out here, then we need to be long. Okay, otherwise this will play out as the wave 1 here and the wave 2 sitting up here, and then we'll be moving lower from this point here. But I don't want to miss anything. And also too, I know with the trading levels, this is a setup here on this level here, because you can see how it was the resistance here, and now it's becoming the support. So it's part of the classic trading levels pattern where we have the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, and then normally we would see an A and a B and a C here, and then we would move up from that point, and we would always look at these tops here to take out. But this one here, if it doesn't make a new low here, it might make a new low here, and then still go up. But the variation of the classic trading levels pattern is the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, and then the A, the B, and the C would sit on top here and then move up. So it would always take the highs going through here. So yeah, look, that's where we are with that. So I don't want to go into a blurb about the count. I just want to keep it simple. We need to be long above this high here. So that's what we're going to do. And if that's long above here, then we can keep the stop under the 20 here for the time being. And the Nifty. So with the Nifty here, this is the weekly chart here. So this is the bigger picture going back to 2016. So the US banks were the ones to lead to the upside here for this. So this is important. So with the US banks, as I've just mentioned, that they pushed up from this low here, and that's why I picked that low in here, was basically because of the US banks, and we're in a bearish situation, but we really nailed that nicely. And the S&P turned there as well, and also the markets like BHP and Rio too, they turned at that point there as well. So anything that started that trend here is really in the same pattern really. So and you know, what have we looked at before when we looked at Goldman Sachs and Morgan's as banks? Their corrective patterns can possibly be finished as well. So if I just bring across Goldman Sachs here for a moment, an A and a B and a C here. So you know, I still need to gather enough evidence for all of this. So you know, if this was going to be a wave 3 from here down to here, then that's the 38.2%. So I either need to see 5 waves, whoops a daisy, I either need to see 5 waves up through here. So the banks have got a lot to do with it all. So I need to see 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. If I can see 5 waves to the 38.2% retracement level, then I'll know that there's a low in place. If we only get 3 waves to the 38.2%, well, then I know that we've got another move to the downside here. So this is what I'm just trying to figure out now. So these are really important to any of those markets that started at this particular point here. Now with this market here, you know, I could probably, you know, it's possible to squeeze 5 waves in this little move up through here, but it's just a little bit difficult to do that. It counts better as an A and a B and a C. And in the Nikkei too, it's more pronounced that this is like, you know, really like this on the Nikkei as such in 3 waves. And this could also be the count for the ASX 200 as well here. A little bit of a thing here is that the move down through here as a wave C is really quite sharp here. But look, pretty much this is what an expanded flat does. It takes out the top of wave 3 here and takes out, just normally clips the bottom here, takes the bottom out here. It didn't do that here, but I kind of find that's okay because we're working with this large number here, and large numbers can skew market patterns. So I know that, I'm aware of that, and been around long enough to see it so many times. But our question with this market comes that the move down through here and the bounce back up here, this grey box is the 50-60% retracement level here. So what I normally do when I don't know what's going on is that I need that resistance area here. I need it as support, right? Unless there's a really nice, you know, if it's something like you know, nice 5 waves up here, and then we've got this back here, then I don't need to do that. I can come in and buy low because I know I've got 5 waves here. But this move up doesn't really show a nice 5 wave structure, so that's always been you know, a bit of a tricky one. It's all this here is this is like 3 waves here in this structure and then 5 here. So it's possible to count this as well, you can count it in different ways, so I won't go into all that at the moment, but all I was suggesting here is that with possible counts, we could have this as wave 1 here and wave 2 here. It's possible to have this as wave D here and wave E here, you know, and possible to have the low in here as wave 4 here as well. So there's a lot sort of going on here. So this is where strategy comes in. So if this high was breached, we go long. If this high was breached, we go long. And now we've got this little high in here. If that's breached, we can go long through there. It would be nice to, you know, the 50 and the 61.8% retracement levels there. So the closest largest number is the 11,000. So really that's what we've been sort of looking at in that space. So if I flip through to the hourly chart here, we were looking at to the downside here, so I've just left it as it is. So we know we can look at this other structure over here in different ways, but still this top is the most important one. Then we've got this second top here, and then we had this top here. So I still think that it's still possible that because this one hasn't been breached here, this can still be down for 1 here, and I've got wave 2 here at the 61.8%. It's possible to, I'll just copy that. It's possible to have that sitting here as well because it hasn't breached that there. So you might be long already, and that's fine. But if not, then this high here would become the long trade at that point, okay? And then we also look to be long above here. In fact, what we do is we build in long in terms of all through group 1 here. This is 11,000, this is group 1 of 11,000. So we want to definitely have at least 3 trades in, you know, the time we get to 11,500 here. The medium level, we need to navigate that. So as it stands at the moment, we want to be short below the 10,720. That's our short trade here, okay? 72. I won't go into that number at the moment, but yeah, and then we also want to be long above here as well. Okay, so that's really where we are. So even though we don't know even though the count is not clear, and we don't want to marry a count that we're not sure about, so we need to look for, you know, trade setups are equally as important, if not more important, than the actual wave structure. In my being, you know, because you have to put the analyst hat on, and then you've got to take that off, and you have to put the trader's hat on, and so on. So it's very difficult to have a good analyst and a good trader in the same person. Somebody's normally a good trader and a hopeless analyst, and so on. So that's a long story, but yeah. So there we go. That's it. Enjoy the weekend. Cheers.